Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Monday. Yeah. Where Spock is moving around by himself. Not really. And Pookie is just like, she's like turning around going like, what?
All kinds of shit's happening.
What's happening back there?
I don't know. I was asleep.
I know. I came in like 20 minutes before the show started because I was like, hey, probably about time to start, getting ready for the show. And he's like,
yeah, huh?
And I was like, yeah.
Yes, I'm just trying to wake up right now. I'm just,
so I'm
drinking too. Trying to wake up and I'm
getting some coffee or something. Yeah.
Me and Jen got up early. We got up at like.
Well, I get up early every fucking
4:30 or 5.
Yeah, I would wake up at like 4:45. It sucks, man. Actually, I woke up earlier than that because I think I woke up about 3:30.
We're like old people, man. We're getting to bed at like 10.
Well, I have to. I can't stay awake any longer.
Gotta go to bed, man. It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, once it's like 9:30, I'm like, I have to go to sleep. Well, it wouldn't be like that. Like over the weekend, like we stay up late because I don't have to get up at the ass crack of dawn.
Right.
If I didn't have to get up at the ass crack of dawn, then I wouldn't go to bed that early.
Yeah, and we don't even know who Dawn is.
Who the hell is Dawn?
And her ass crack. I don't fucking. If we knew who she was, then
we keep waking up in that same.
I don't know. But fucking.
Oh my god.
But no, so I go to sleep with her. You know what I mean? And we wake up around the same time.
I mean, for a while, he was just like, I'm not going to sleep at 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. That's lame. And he would, like, either put on his headphones or he'd go in the man cave and, like, watch TV or something so I could sleep. But, yeah, lately, like, last few weeks, he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to sleep.
Yeah. And then I ended up waking up just naturally at, like, 4:30 or 5.
Yeah, I do, too. I don't even need an alarm clock.
Yeah.
I've never overslept. I think the most I've overslept was, like, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like an old man. See the sun coming up and everything. Like, oh, well, big day. Remember those fucking coverall wearing motherfuckers? Hey, it's time to get up.
Yeah.
The deer are getting up soon. I thought my dad.
I know, right?
Yeah, we gotta get in a tree stand before the fucking sun comes up.
I don't like it, and I especially don't like having to like drive all that way because the sun is like always right in my face like the whole way because I have to drive east the whole entire way to go to work.
Yeah.
Zach says it's weird with me. Sometimes I'm asleep by 10. Other days I'm not asleep till 3 a.m. I hate it. My best wake up time is 6 or 7. Later than that, and the day feels way too long or way too short.
Yeah.
Yeah. Murder Hornet says be back later at Taco Bell. Okay. So, all right. So this episode, which is season 6, I believe is episode 2. And we actually watched this. We would normally watch them on Sunday nights, but we actually watched it on Saturday night. After we watched Shazam. So, I have to say that we were both a little bit inebriated when we watched this. I remember it. I remember what happened, but it's like I'm reading my notes back today and I'm like cracking myself up.
Yeah.
Because like I was like, oh, this should be super funny, like reading these notes back again because I was like kind of drunk when I wrote them down.
Is it just one page?
No, it's two pages front and back. Okay. Say like that. Okay. And it's like, at least I'm proud of myself. They actually are like pretty coherent, and I remember like what they refer to.
I remember we were sitting there watching. She started busting up laughing while she was writing. I was like, "What?" And I did this and I was like, "Yeah." I didn't know what she's talking about. I was like, "Yeah."
I don't even know what I'm talking about half the time. Yeah. I mean, you guys know.
Yeah.
But so the thing about this, remember I said everywhere, even like on IMDb, on Wikipedia, on like some other things that are referring to it, like on YouTube and stuff like that, like all of that, they all refer to it as Well to Hell, which to be fair does make more sense. But then when we watch the actual episode, the actual title card on there says The Well from Hell. Yeah. Which again doesn't really make it. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference, but I'm just like wondering why, why that is. But on the disc, on the disc that we own, it says The Well from Hell. Now, I actually did watch right before the show. I found there's a paranormal investigation group that worked on this called Goners, which stands for, what the hell does that stand for? Ghosts of New England Research Society. Yeah, that's right, Goners. So, and they had done like a 15, 16 minute YouTube, video about this investigation. So they mentioned a couple things that they didn't mention on the show. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So let's talk a little bit about this. I remembered this one because I remembered as soon as I saw the photo on IMDb of the girl with the feather and the sage, like with the blonde curly hair and everything, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that one. That's the voodoo girl, right? That caused all the trouble. So I guess this took place in Connecticut, like in Cromwell, Connecticut, which I guess is like a little village up there. I don't know. I've never been to Connecticut. Now, they start out at the beginning, like, they just do, like, a little bit of a thing, like, in the early 1960s. So I guess our main protagonist, like the guy that we're going to be following, is named Mark Corvo. And I guess he grew up in this house. Now, they said on A Haunting that it was 1962. But when I was watching the Goners thing about the investigation, they said that his parents actually moved in there in 1959. And one thing that he said was really interesting that I don't think they mentioned on the Haunting show was that when the parents moved in 1959, because the house is old, it was built in like the 1740s, they were like, when they were digging a septic system in the backyard, they found a bunch of like flat headstones back there. Like, so I guess there had been like a family cemetery at some point, because the house was built by like a family, and it, you know, the family, and there's with another family that they had married into, and they had like lived there for a really long time. But I thought that was kind of interesting, and I don't know why they didn't mention that on A Haunting, because that would have been really neat. Like, you know what I mean? Like finding gravestones when you're fucking digging a septic tank. But pretty much all they said from 1962 was that Mark, when he was a kid, was what they would consider an empath, I guess. You know, he sleepwalking, he had super vivid dreams. And I guess, and I don't remember if they mentioned this on A Haunting either, but the guy mentioned it on the Goners video, that there had been some minor paranormal activity in the house when Mark was a kid, like when the parents were there as well, but nothing major. It was just like little footsteps and that kind of shit, like nothing crazy. So then we jump ahead like 50 years or something like that to, I think it started taking place in like 2011. So I guess Mark's parents have died, and they have left him the childhood home. So he goes back, and he still has like a lot of fond memories of growing up there. And so he's going to fix it up and start renting it out, like, to tenants, you know what I mean? Because I saw the actual house. They didn't use the actual house on A Haunting, obviously. But on the Goners investigation video, they showed the actual house. And it's a good size. It's, like, pretty big. So he decides he's going to, like, rent it out. And like I said, he said that he had seen, like, minor paranormal activity there ever since he was a kid. But it wasn't any big deal, and he was kind of used to it. So he just kind of, like, ignored it because it was nothing major. So, you know, so he would hear, like, footsteps. It's, like, occasionally, like, doors would open and close by themselves. Shit like that. Like, you know, pretty minor. So he's in there for a month, and he's fixing this stuff up. And then he has, like, his first tenant, whose name is Sean Angus. And he's, like, a firefighter. And I guess he works, you know, pretty close by, like, to the fire station. So he rents a room there, too. And then the second tenant is the one that causes all the trouble. And her name is Ashley Singer. And I guess she just moved to the area, and she comes in, and she's kind of one of those, like, super new agey sort of people, right? So she comes in, and she's like, ooh, I've sent something in here, blah-de-blah. So there's that. So she moves into the other room. Now, Sean, the firefighter, is helping out with the renovations. And while him and Mark are down in the basement, they take the cover off this old well, which I guess, like, down in the basement there's a well, which presumably is the well to hell or the well from hell that we're talking about. And Mark said that he remembered it being down there from his childhood, but that he didn't really think anything about it. Like, nothing weird had happened in there or anything like that. It was just kind of there, you know. So they kind of, like, uncover it. Now, not too long after this, Mark is sleeping in his bed, and he starts hearing, like, weird noises, like weird banging sounds, like the pipes hissing or something that sounds like that, and maybe footsteps. It's like, it sounded pretty much like footsteps. And he also said that Sean, the other tenant, also complained about the same kind of noises. He's like, that he didn't really know what that was. And so Ashley also thinks something is up in the house. And there's kind of a part where the chandelier, like, in one of the rooms is kind of, like, moving around by itself. And then a drawer in her room, like, opens and closes by itself. Like, I think it was, like, the nightstand drawer, like, opened up and then closed.
Did they see it open, or they found it open?
Well, it opened and then it slammed.
Okay.
So they didn't find it open. So I'm presuming that she saw it or Mark saw it.
All right.
Like it opened by itself and then closed again. And also here's footsteps. So she tells Mark about all of this, and you know, he's like, well, whatever. It's just like an old house. Like, we've had weird shit like that happen ever since I was a kid. So he doesn't really take it all that serious because it doesn't seem like that big a deal. You know what I mean? Like, it's not hurting anybody. Now, a few weeks after this, I thought this was kind of funny. Mark he's out like in the garden or whatever working, and he starts smelling smoke and sees smoke coming out of Ashley's window, like of her room. And so he thinks, as you would, that the house is on fire. So he runs up there, like, panicking, like, oh my god, Ashley, like, let me in, are you alright, or whatever. But it turns out she was just burning sage up there. I'm like, holy shit, like, how much sage was that bitch burning in that room? Where it's like, you know, smoke is, like, billowing out of the fucking window, and he thought it was on fire? Jesus Christ. But yeah, so she wasn't fucking around with the sage, I guess. She was, like, burning a whole bunch of it. She's like, yeah, I'm doing a cleansing, so she's got, like, the feather and all that. And Mark's kind of weirded out by this, but he's like, well, you know, just don't burn the house down. Okay. You know, so there's that. Now, a few days after that, I thought this was kind of strange, too. So, like, Ashley is going to go to New Orleans, right? And she has a friend of hers. I couldn't figure out what they said her name was. Satra, something like that. So she has this friend come and stay in the room, like, while she's in New Orleans, which I was like, okay. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of weird, like, especially if you're living in someone else's house. They're like, hey, I'm going to have this random stranger, like, come and live in my room while I'm gone. How about that? I don't know. I just thought that was kind of strange. But yeah, so this girl comes and, like, lives in there while Ashley is in New Orleans. Now, Sandra, or whatever the fuck her name is, she's sleeping in the bed one night, and I guess, like, the sheets start pulling off. Like, the way they showed it, it was just, like, the sheets were kind of, like, slowly, and then whipped off, like, really quick like that. Like, because she kept being like, what the fuck? Like, I'm, like, pulling them back up, and they kept, like, scooching down, and then, like, whipped off, you know?
Yeah.
Fucking
with her.
They're fucking with her.
Yeah.
So, apparently, this was enough for her to be like, yeah, I'm out. So, she gets the fuck out of the house. She's like, I'm not staying here. And then actually she came back like and pulled a Karen, and she came back like all fucking pissy and gives the keys back to Mark like it was his fault or something like that. You got some weird shit going on in this house. I'm not staying in here, blah blah. And then this is what I laughed at when I read my notes back, because like I said, I was kind of drunk when I wrote these. I wrote Ashley returns with Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli. Yeah, me and Jenna started laughing about it.
And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. She comes back, this fucking blonde goth chick with these two hot black guys and the fucking...
With dreads.
And Jen's like, she's going to be making porn tonight. They're making porn in there. They're not doing paranormal shit, man. Knock it off.
Yeah, we kind of figured they were probably making porn in there.
She's making funny comments. They kick the dudes out. She goes, hey, don't take away my black guys. Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah. Girl got to have her black man up in there with her. Man.
They did kind of look like Milli Vanilli.
They did, yeah.
Well, that's why I thought it was funny, because it's just when they showed it, because it looked all ominous, you know, like when she's walking back down the street, like, you know, with her posse.
Yeah.
And I was just like, they're supposed
to be like Haitian voodoo posse or something.
That's what, and they're like walking down like, we're going to do some voodoo.
But that's not the way they actually looked. They looked more like Jamaican Milli Vanillis. They looked like models. It was funny.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's the first thing I thought was like Milli Vanilli. So I said she returns with Milli Vanilli.
Yeah. But she'd be walking in front and had two behind her. And they're all dressed up in black and shit.
And they look all serious and shit. I just thought that was really funny.
They were the interracial Jamaican voodoo posse.
Yeah.
Porn. XXX shit.
Yeah, they're probably... Ooh, they're just making some voodoo porn.
Yeah.
That's probably a whole subgenre.
I was waiting for it to bust out.
Yeah. It's like, where's the voodoo porn? Come on. I'm disappointed.
It was a great setup. So this is going to be a hell of a scene, man. Who paid for this?
Yeah, they're going to do like all kind of...
Who's producing this scene?
A voodoo ritual.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Zach says you should do a show on Milli Vanilli and the fraud behind them. Yeah. I bought it,
man. I bought into that. I thought that was real.
I didn't think.
I thought it was real. I thought it was real. When it turned out that they were lip syncing, I was like, "Fuck, really?" And I was thinking about, well, of course. What are the chances of those dudes actually looking like that, could sing and dance like that, and they could sing like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Too much talent in one spot.
Zach said, weren't they German, actually? I think they might have been, now that you mention it.
Yeah, I think they might have been European, now that you think. I thought they might have been French.
Yeah,
were they French?
Belgian?
Something like that, yeah.
Shit, man, now I can't remember. It's been so long. It's been so long. But yeah, so...
There was something weird about the whole thing. And the dudes that were actually singing it, they were black guys. They were just big old fat black guys.
Yeah. And
they can sing, though.
We can't have that.
Can't have that.
Unless you're the fat boys.
No. Can't have that. They should have just kept singing. Fuck it.
Or Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Mark says that when Ashley came back with Milli Vanilli, that she seemed, quote unquote, darker than when she left. So yeah, she went to New Orleans and got into some shenanigans.
With them black dudes, she's coming back darker. Telling you, man.
This was just, it was too easy. They were just they were just setting it up. Yeah. They were just setting everything up. For assholes with dirty minds like we have.
Yeah. Came back, hair braided in cornrows and shit.
Well, not quite. I mean, but that would have been funny if they had done that. If she'd have just come back like with all.
Came back speaking Ebonics.
Yeah, or some shit.
Yeah.
They didn't go
with
that far because that might have been slightly offensive. But you know what I mean. But yeah,
I think that's what they were talking about.
It might have been. I don't know because the real woman, like the real Ashley woman, was not on there. So they just had like the actress.
Yeah.
So Mark is not happy with this new version of Ashley, who has returned with these two dudes. The two friends obviously are from Haiti, so yeah, there's some voodoo shit going on.
Yeah.
And probably also porn, like you said. Yeah. So, I mean, might as well. So, they bless the house with voodoo, I guess. And then Mark says something about, I don't remember, because I just wrote this down, and I think we were laughing or making a joke or something like that, and I didn't catch all of it. But I don't know if Ashley told him this, or... I think Ashley told him something like, well, if you leave the house or if you ever sell this house, then you'll die. Right? Like, didn't she say something like that to him?
Yeah.
And he was just like, okay. So, whatever. Yeah, if he ever sold the house or if it left the family, like, then he would die. So then he's like, Ashley starts, because you know how she was doing the whole thing with the sage and everything. She starts smudging the fucking house every day. He goes out and he sees her... I admit I've never seen anybody do this, but she was quote-unquote blessing the house or smudging the house with the garden hose, right? Yeah. Like she's hosing the front of the house. I'm like, it doesn't look like she's blessing the house. It just looked like she's kind of like rinsing the windows off is what it looks like. Yeah. But I guess she's
trying to get that shit over with, man. She goes, I blessed the whole water supply.
That's what I thought. She just blessed the hose.
This is holy
like,
water. Yeah. Yeah.
It's efficient. It's efficient.
Why not? Yeah.
I mean, that's what I thought.
If you have the power to bless water, man, just fucking bless the whole fucking supply and turn on the bless all the water on the world.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. It's kind of all connected, right? Yeah. So you can just kind of go, whoa.
The entire fucking...
everything's holy water.
The entire water cycle.
No vampires can go anywhere now.
Yeah.
So, I just blessed all the water in the world. You're welcome.
Yeah. Water's connected, people. I saw some TikTok video of this dude from India pissed off that people were taking too many showers. They were wasting all that water. Like water is wasted. He didn't know about evaporation and the water cycle, I guess. It's just fucking funny.
I mean, yeah.
Water doesn't go away when you use it.
It'll come back.
It comes back. It evaporates, fucking rains and goes into the ocean and then evaporates, and it's a whole cycle, people. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It's a whole cycle, yeah.
But yeah, it
didn't come from here anyway. It was fucking comets, fucking during the Earth's creation.
And we might get more comets like hitting all the time and like.
The water came from a Kuiper belt, big fucking frozen comets. Yeah.
Big frozen comets.
Yeah.
So I wrote blessing with hose, which was another thing that made me laugh. I mean, like I said, we were kind of drunk when we watched this, but it did have some funny shit in it. So after all of this, I guess like her hose blessing did not work. And she's just like, oh, well, the spirits in this place are just too intense, man, and I just can't handle it. So it's too much for her, so she has to move out. And Mark said she moved out really abruptly, like she left most of her shit there.
Zach had to go investigate the black guys, want to find out where they came from.
German, French, according to we were
both right. I remembered them as being French, and you remembered them being German. They were German French, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They were European. That was the funny thing about it.
Why is that funny?
Because it sounded like they sounded like fucking it was the voices sounded like African American guys singing.
Yeah.
They weren't even,
well, because it wasn't their voices.
wasn't their voices.
Right.
They were European guys. And they had some, I remember hokey outfits like little shorts with suit jackets on. And
like the suit jackets had kind of like big shoulder pads.
Yeah, and then they had hats almost like pilgrims' hats and little shoes with buckles and shit and socks.
I don't remember the buckle shoes.
I thought they had
But
buckle shoes.
yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying
I remember them kind of looking like pilgrims wearing shorts.
I do remember the shorts and the suit jacket ensemble.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
They were pretty boys. They were
like some weird ass outfits.
Yeah, weird. Yeah.
You know.
I
mean, I guess at the time we didn't think of it as weird because everybody was wearing stupid shit.
There's weird shit going all over the place.
Do you remember that short-lived trend in the 90s where everybody, like, I guess it was more of like a hip-hop thing where everybody's like wearing their clothes backwards? Mm-hmm. Do you remember that? Where everything was like super
a little
bad?
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't Chris Cross wearing their pants
Yeah,
backwards?
that's who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
They were I feel like they were kind of the pioneers of that
Yeah.
short-lived trend.
Yeah.
Maybe they were the only ones that did it. I just remember it kind of being everywhere.
That's the only thing I can remember in their videos. They had their pants on.
Yeah, they always like the big baggy clothes that they were always on backwards. They're like, hey, that's going to be our thing. We're the backwards clothes wearing people.
What was funny is that in that era, we actually thought that things like Chris Cross were a naturally occurring phenomenon. Like something like that would actually just naturally spring up out of the market. You know, it didn't really dawn on us back then that was a totally corporate creation, totally fictional.
Yeah. And that was like probably some executive's thing. He's like, I have an idea. Like, put all your clothes on backwards.
Yeah.
That'll make you stand out.
Yeah. We're going to make some, what do they call it? Rap? Yeah, we're going to make some rap music. The kids will love it. They all like rap. Yeah. So we'll get some little black kids. We'll write a big old song and they can wear their clothes backwards and they can jump up and down. The kids will love it. We'll make a shit ton of money. They did.
They were right. They did.
Yeah.
So they're not so dumb.
No. They knew that the audience was dumb. That's what Milli Vanilli was all about.
Yeah.
They just target marketed it. Oh, they'll love it.
Here, we'll foist this off on the public. It'll be fine. They'll be into it. And they were. Mm-hmm. It worked.
For a limited amount of time, then came Vanilla Ice. And that broke that machine. You never really saw any of that shit again.
Like I said, please watch Cool as Ice. Well, don't watch. I wouldn't advise anyone to watch it.
That movie, man.
But I'm just saying that to me like encapsulates, that is the most 90s thing that has ever existed.
I think that movie actually destroyed that marketing technique from the 90s. I think when people saw that movie, they're like, "Oh, damn, this shit is that fake. It is that artificial." Fucking, and it crumbled.
I got cramps from cringing through that movie. Like, I cringed the whole time.
It was like watching Saban's Power Rangers, but it was rap with a white dude.
Yeah. And it's just like, and everywhere Vanilla Ice went, everywhere Vanilla. It sounds like a fairy tale for a second, but it's like wherever he went, everybody's like, "Ooh, look at that weirdo," or like, "He's such a badass," and it's just, I'm just like, "Oh my god, please stop it!"
Yeah,
it's
totally
like, what the
artificial.
fuck? What the fuck is going on? Like, in what universe is this story existing? I just
he's a rap impersonator.
I mean. It's something else if you haven't seen it. Like I said, I watched it. I wouldn't watch it by itself because I have too much self-respect for that. But I did watch the Riff Tracks version, which is delightful. But even then, like, I just fucking cringed the whole time.
That act was fake as fuck.
Yeah, it was terrible.
That destroyed that dude.
It was so terrible. Yeah, last I heard he was like building cabinets or something.
Yeah, he got sucked into that.
Which, I mean, no shame in that. It's like, if you, you do a trade.
Hey, you want a job? Want to be a rapper? Yeah, sounds like it. We got a job for you, man. You can sing.
Kind of.
Yeah. There's a song we got written, man. You're gonna love. It's called Ice Ice Baby. Really? Yeah. Come here, man. Let's get you a haircut. In that flat top.
And then, didn't he have like stuff like carved in it, or was that somebody cut into it or whatever?
You had to ride a motorcycle? No. We'll learn. We got a fucking GSXR for you. You got to ride that.
Yeah.
It's just totally artificial.
Well, and he was supposed to look like this big hard ass, but like all his clothes looked brand new. Like he didn't have any
brand new, like he never wore
any dirt on him or anything.
Yeah, there wasn't anything hard about that dude.
No, of course not. Well, that's what I thought was like super funny.
Nothing street about that guy at all.
I'm like, if he'd walked down the street like in that fucking getup, he'd probably got his ass kicked.
It was he got his ass kicked. That was the male equivalent of like Tiffany.
Yeah, pretty
basically.
much.
Remember Tiffany?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe like that.
Yeah. Or Debbie Gibson. Or
Debbie Gibson.
I'm sorry, Deborah Gibson.
Yeah. I think Deborah Gibson had more to her than him.
She did, yeah. She actually did seem to have a little bit of talent.
Yeah.
But yeah. So where was I? All right. So Ashley moves out, leaves all her shit there, which, you know, whatever, because she's too scared to stay there anymore. So Mark is kind of like upset about this and like, you know, concerned for her and blah blah. But we don't know what happened to her. So Sean is still there though, the other tenant, and he has also had his girlfriend Jessica, and she has moved in. Now Jessica, at one point, wakes up and sees. I rewound it a couple times. I'm like, what am I looking at? Like, I couldn't tell what I was looking at. I wasn't that drunk, I swear. But it's like, I'm like, what are they showing me? I wrote sheet monster. Is that what you saw? It looked like a sheet monster, right?
Yeah.
Like, so like something was underneath the sheet going like, rah, you know what I mean?
Ghost.
Like a ghost under a sheet. I wrote sheet monster. I don't know if that's what it could. I don't know. Like the way they shot it, it was just like really close up. Maybe they didn't have the good special effects and they're just like, just blow it up real big and just, I don't know what it was.
Might have been a sheet with something projected on it.
Maybe, because I'm just sitting there like for a long time I was like, what am I looking at? I couldn't tell what I was looking at. So it's a sheet monster, I think. So Jessica is like, I don't think so. So she runs out the fucking house in her pajamas and gets in the damn car. And so I guess like Sean chases after her, but then they have like kind of a jump scare moment where like apparently the sheet monster like bangs against the car, like whack, like that. She's like blah, and then like but then it's of course it's
Jeff
Sean.
Yard says that he's in West Palm Beach, Florida, restoring mansions.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he'd gone into like construction.
Yeah,
which you know
that's good.
That's probably like
that's good.
More.
Yeah,
that's a more noble profession.
He just got caught up in an industry.
Yeah,
it was basically like K-pop, but it was American.
Yeah,
and they just were like making instant stars, and it didn't work for long. Although they had been doing that, I think, since the 70s. Because there was a lot of instant stars that just kind of came and went.
Yeah.
Pia Zadora, one of them.
Thank you, Jeffy Art.
Yeah.
The little dancing pair. Look, it has a little lover boy thing on it, Chad. Zach says, I have a friend up in Elkhart who's here is Eminem of all people. He even dresses like him. My friend's awesome, but it's still kind of funny.
Like dresses like Eminem?
Yeah.
Fuck. Although Eminem is a real phenomenon, though. You know what I mean? Like he's a real rapper.
Well, I mean, he's actually, like I said, he's actually
he's talented. Got
talent. So, Murder Hornet said, Little Tom says, I can even beat Vanilla Ice's ass. Yeah. Let's see Little Tom.
Yeah.
Tom's playing.
Oh yeah, the Little Tom.
Yeah. I'm so happy that I found that because it's like that looks exactly like you. But
they just wanted an instant rapper that could sell to the mainstream. So he was going to be a white guy. That's what they were going to do.
Yeah. I mean,
family friendly, I guess.
Yeah.
He's hard, man. He's tough. We don't know where he came from. Pulled up on a motorcycle.
With a ridiculous jacket on.
Yeah.
And shorts.
Multicolored leather jacket and shit.
Yeah, it's like... And did it have, like, words painted all over it?
Oh, it had all kinds of shit. Everything was fucking what they call spumoni, which is overdone, man. Spumoni's Italian ice cream. It's got all the flavors.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little over the top. But, yeah.
Tacky.
Yeah, very tacky.
Everything looked real corporate, though, anyway. Nothing was do-it-yourself.
Yeah, it's kind of like after punk got popular, and then, like, you'd go and see, like, these... leather jackets like with shit painted all over them and they were like $300 and stuff like that, and you're like, that's not really in the whole spirit of the thing, is it?
No.
But but yeah. All right, so the sheep monster, like I said, seems to like chase her out the house and like bash into the side of the car, but then I don't know if that really happened. They were just trying to do a jump scare because really it's just Sean's t-shirt going like, where are you going? Like driving, it's the middle of the night and you're in your pajamas or whatever. She's like, fuck this shit. I'm like out of here. Because he tells her, oh, you were dreaming. And she's like, yeah, fuck that. No, I wasn't. She's like, I'm not staying in this house. I'm out. So she left. So Sean actually, he didn't tell her to just fuck off. I guess he moved out too. So now Mark just lives in the house by himself. He doesn't have any tenants anymore. So he decides he's going to launch his own investigation because, if anything, Mark is a man of action. That's for sure. Just the way he said it. He didn't say he was a man of action. I said that. But it's like just the way he said it implied that that's what he wanted. That's the impression that he wanted to give. So yeah. So he decides he's going to do like some EVP shit. Now, while he's looking around in the house, I guess in the basement, he finds an altar in there, like with a cross, like some empty bottles on it, and a dead bird. So that's like the voodoo shit. So I guess that was what Ashley and Milli Vanilli were doing down in the basement all that time, like doing voodoo shit in the basement, and presumably making the paranormal activity worse. Yeah. Ashley, Milli Vanilli.
Sex magic.
Yeah, that's what they were doing down there.
Yeah.
So Mark keeps doing the EVP sessions every night. Now he plays one back. One of them, I'm pretty sure, my hearing is bad, you guys. It sounded like someone was shouting help, right? But then there was other ones that had kind of like overlapping demonic voices, and they played them, and it's like, and it's pretty clear that they thought that we understood what the fuck it said. But I am here to inform you that I did not understand a single word of that.
My hearing's still okay. I couldn't understand it.
It just
okay.
And then like the way they talked about it afterward, like it seemed like they were implying that like we knew what that said. I'm like, I don't know what that said. That could be saying anything.
Yeah.
That could be saying, how would you like a fluffy kitten? You know what I mean? I don't know. But I couldn't tell what it said. So he decides he's going to call some paranormal investigators. As I said before, these are called the Ghosts of New England Research Society, or Goners for short. Now, the guy that runs it is named Kurt. I can't remember what his last name is. But we kind of... Here's another thing that we laughed at. Because when they first showed Mark calling Kurt at the Goners office, it looked like the office was like in a skyscraper. And we were kind of like... Come on.
Yeah,
now.
we were like going, damn, they're up in the top of the skyscraper.
They're like, how much money is this paranormal society making? Like, they had
Yeah.
this really swanky office, like, in the downtown skyscraper? I don't think so.
Well, they had an establishing shot that led you to believe that this is in a downtown skyscraper. But then in the following sequence, they're talking to him in an office, and you look out the window, and it's the backyard.
Right.
So I don't know if that was
Which,
intentional
like I said,
or
I kind of feel
how
like
that happened.
Most of the time when they have somebody calling the paranormal investigators, it's always kind of like they have an office. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's mostly just out of people's houses.
Out of people's, it's like what we have.
Right, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you have an office in your house, you can run your paranormal society out of that.
Yeah. Our shit's more advanced, man. Our shit looks like a damn studio. Waiting rooms, and snack rooms, and break rooms and shit. Yeah, we could be bringing clients over here. Doing paranormal shit. Paranormal porn.
There we go. That's our niche.
We have our own black dudes coming over and knocking these white girls down, man. I'm going to be back there producing this shit, man. The director will be sitting up in the director's chair. Jenny's writing the scripts.
We could like that. You know what? Actually, we could pioneer a whole subgenre of paranormal porn. You wouldn't even have to pay any actors because they could be like invisible ghosts. And
Ghosts.
You could just like
the
you know what I'm
ghosts are
saying?
fucking each other.
Right. Or you could have one person and then the ghost is fucking the person.
I'll talk to Bill. Ask him about.
See if there's. I mean, I'm sure there's already.
I'm
sure somebody's thought of that.
About the market viability of invisible porn.
Because I'm like, because you don't have to pay a ghost.
No, it ain't gonna happen.
I mean, well, maybe you do. Maybe they get mad. But it's like,
Yeah.
what are ghosts going to do with money? Nothing. So it's like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Every scene is like something out of the Entity. You just see the girl.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Except considerably less violent because that
Right.
was like that was like some rapey shit going on. But you know what I mean? So we just kind of laughed because we're like we're pretty sure that this paranormal investigation group doesn't have an office in a downtown skyscraper. That would really be something, unless they inherited money from their family or something. So they kind of talked a little bit about the history of the house. So the house was built in, I think, 1741, and it was built by a guy named William, what was his name? Fanny, something like that. Ranny, that's right. I wrote it down and I can't even fucking read it now. But yeah. So and he was like a slave trader, so I guess he had a bunch of slaves and lived as slaves in the house and shit like that. And he was like a sea captain also. Now, when they did all these EVPs, there was like all these separate voices on there. Like I said, they played some of them, and I'm just like, you're presuming that I understand a word out of that. It sounded like Charlie Brown's mom. I just couldn't tell what they were saying. Now, so the paranormal team comes to the house, and I wrote down, including Kristen the psychic, Melanie the tech person, and Pat the something. I didn't know what Pat did, because I didn't catch that. Evidence collector, I said maybe. And then, of course, they go down to the basement, and they see the infamous, the titular well from hell, or well to hell. And you know what they said about that well? That's a portal, baby. So the psychic she's down there kind of like farting around by the well, and she gets kind of physically hit by some dark energy from the well. So a ghostie comes like out of the well, and it's supposedly a kid, and like goes into the psychic, I guess, which sounds kind of dirty, but let's not go there because it's a kid.
Yeah.
So the psychic said she felt the ghost like touching her cheek and her hair, and she said she heard the kid say, "Where's Mama? Mama got sick." So I guess they're presuming that this little girl was like a slave girl, and her mom got sick and got taken away and presumably died, and they never told the little girl where her mom went. So she's still like haunting the place, like waiting for her mom to come back. So there's that. So then Kurt and Pat the something explore the attic, and they find some voodoo symbols. And one of them starts feeling really weird, like kind of nauseated or whatever. And then the other one, I guess they see like an apparition next to Kurt. Like Pat sees like an apparition next to Kurt and like a hand like reaching for his shoulder like that. But I guess like Kurt doesn't see it. But because then when he turns, there's like nothing there. So according to the team, they say, well, this house has, been a shelter for lost souls for centuries. So like I said, well to hell or well from hell, that seems like a little bit of a misnomer because these aren't demons or anything like that. It's just like a bunch of ghosts in the house, presumably. But they said, yeah, it was probably like all that voodoo shit that unleashed this particular dark energy. So, it's all Ashley's fault and Millie Vanilli's fault. So Kurt and this other person, the psychic, I guess, tell Mark that it's like, well, you're more tuned into the supernatural than usual, and that's why you got all these EVPs, because apparently he had like a whole bunch of them. Now, one thing they didn't mention on the show, but that like the guy, I think it was Kurt that did the Goners thing that on YouTube that I saw. He said that they got a bunch of EVPs, and he's like, some of the EVPs were like nice, they were female voices, and they were like would say like affectionate things and stuff. But then he's like, there were some of them that this stood out to me. He said one of them told Mark that he was going to give him cancer.
Okay.
And I was like, rude. Yeah. Well, they said Mark did get cancer like later on.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if I think he's still alive, but I don't really know because that video was like 10 years ago or something like that, because this came out in 2013, this show, which was 10 years ago. So yeah, so basically they're gonna have to they're like, well, you're just gonna have to deal with all these spirits, but you're gonna need some tools. You're gonna have to do like meditation and prayers and blah blah blah, because they didn't really, this was one where they didn't, because usually they're like, oh, we're gonna help the spirits cross over. They didn't even like say that in this one. They're just like, deal with it.
Yeah, they're good over there.
They're
They'll sort it out.
I guess because the well is there and it's a portal, so it's like, well, even if you get rid of these ones, like more ones are going to be popping through and being like, hey, what's going on here, you guys? You know what I mean? Like, it's like the ghosty hangout.
Yeah.
So I guess they're like, don't even bother. You're just going to have to like deal with it and hope they don't like wing a brick at your head. Or
well,
nothing.
the hell reminds me of I was thinking more along the lines of like Art Bell. What he had that ongoing story. What was it called? Mel's Hole. There's some shit like that called Mel's Hole or something.
Are we exploring Mel's Hole on today's episode?
Some dude had a fucking hole down into hell in his fucking property, and he's putting the microphones down there. You hear people screaming in the like. Fucking,
oh, I know what you're talking about.
I think it was called Mel's Hole. I think that's what that story was called.
Because of course they called it that.
Yeah,
Mel,
I think that's what it was called.
Quit sticking that microphone up your ass.
Yeah, you guys can drop in the comment sections what it really was. I think it was Mel's Hole.
He that would be really funny if he stuck like the microphone up his ass and there was like demon screams and stuff.
The bowels of hell.
Yeah, literal.
Yeah.
That would be like Mel's Hole. Jesus Christ. That's ridiculous.
Murder Hornets. I remember that episode. Yeah. And he was playing the recordings. You hear, oh, and it's like fucking echoey, and all these people screaming. And
oh,
so what do you think it is? And he goes, it's souls in hell. Wow.
Fuck. Yeah, wow.
So, it goes all the way down to hell. Yeah, it does. I want to have an expedition. I want to be lowered down in there. And fucking, I think he was talking about he wanted all this money to help him build this crane, and they were going to fucking miles and miles of cable to lower him down there where he could document it.
Why the fuck would you want to go down there?
He was lying.
Yeah.
He was lying.
I was saying, even if you did have that, like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna stay over here. I'm not going down in there.
He wanted to be the first person to explore it.
Oh my God.
That was back at the Art Bell, man. Art Bell was a fucking cool show, man. Pre-internet. You couldn't check on anything.
I just admire his ability to keep a straight face during all of that stuff. Like, he didn't, make fun of anybody or... See, no. I wouldn't be able to resist.
He was a legend, man. A radio great.
Yeah. He just kind of, took everything at face value and was like, wow, really?
You sit there and listen to his show and you just chill out, relax, and fucking drink or smoke a doob or just whatever. You'd be trying to tune in on that damn AM station to hear him broadcasting from the desert. And he'd take you into another world, man. It was like you were listening to some kind of secret transmission. He had good guests on and shit and everything.
Yeah, for some I do remember you talking about Mel's Hole. I don't think I ever heard heard that episode, but
Xanadu sent me all kind of links to the old shows. There's people that have archived all those old shows. So if you ever want to, you go back and listen to them, commercials and all. And evidently, there's not many of a lot of the shows survived, but he didn't record any of that evidently. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't keep an archive. Not extensive archive. I know he played.
Crazy.
He did repeats and shit, but they're not published. He might have them. That might be in his house. But I think his wife died, and I think he died. I don't know who's got all his stuff.
It's kind of sad. Well, that's why they don't. Why it's hard to find old TV shows from the 40s and 50s and stuff like that, because they didn't think to keep it. Mm-hmm. And particularly too, when they would do TV shows live.
Yeah.
They didn't really. Even if they did keep it, they're just man, then after a while, the studio would burn down or they'd throw it out or something like that.
Most of the stuff that's out there at Art Bell that survived, that's in the internet, was recorded by fans. On tape.
What the hell's that noise?
I don't know. Somebody's tapping on something out there, the neighbor.
It's one of them ghosts, man.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about ghosts and they're getting mad, so they're tapping at us. It came from Mel's Hole.
Mel's Hole, yeah.
We didn't do a show about Tom's Hole.
Listen to Jen, always trying to She's got these weird fantasies.
I had to walk it. It was right there. It was right there.
I let it sit there. You had to pick it up.
That's right.
Okay.
You know how it goes. So like I said, they didn't even fucking bother doing exorcisms or doing cleansing or anything like that. They were just basically deal with it, bitch. That's about it. There's just ghosts all up in this shit. And the house is old, so it's you just have to, live with it. So Mark decides he just starts, reading the Bible and all that. And he's well, basically the thing that you need to do is don't engage them. So he just kind of starts concentrating on the renovations. And he said that he was fixing the outside of the house, working on the gutters or something like that. Ouch, I got my fucking ring caught in my hair. And he felt an evil presence, he said. And then he says, and I always think it's don't antagonize it, don't think negative thoughts or anything like that, because that always makes it worse. But apparently he got mad at it and he yells, "Leave me alone." And at this point, the ghosts throw him off the ladder. Or he just fell off the ladder. So
probably fell off the ladder.
Yeah, it does sound more dramatic if a ghost pushed you off the ladder. Then it's just, well, I fell.
Yeah.
And so I guess he was up by the roof, second or third floor or something like that. So he actually broke his back. He fell off, so the ghost broke his back. So the ghosts are dicks, man.
Yeah. Okay.
But they said he broke his back, and then they said it was only 3 weeks recovery. I'm like, oh, well, that's
might not have been serious, right?
Yeah, well, I hope not. Yeah. Well, yeah, because if it's really bad, then you'd be a fucking paraplegic. Yeah. So yeah.
Didn't break his spinal column.
I guess not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the ghost pushed him off the house and broke his back. So assholes. But yeah, so. But I guess he's still living in the same house, or he was as of this show, and he is just basically the voiceover said the battle rages on, because all Mark says is you can't let anger control the shit. Like, it makes all the stuff worse. So he's just doing prayer and meditation and focusing on positive stuff because spirits thrive on fear. Yeah. So once he started doing that, like, the paranormal activity like lessened significantly, but I guess it's like still around.
So he's at home holding down the fort against the forces of fucking paranormal evil.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, he soldiers on. Okay. Like I said, it's a good episode. Don't know if any of it happened. Hard to pick it through. There's no way to investigate it through the story. There's not enough there. Not enough evidence. It's just a story.
Yeah, if you're interested in a little bit more material about it, they do have, like I said, the Goners do have like a 16-minute YouTube video where they kind of document a little bit, or talked a little bit about their investigation there, and they show the real house and like Mark is in it and stuff like that. Right. So I watched that before. It was kind of interesting. And like I said, they did mention some stuff that they didn't mention on the show, like the stuff about the graveyard, like the graveyard that was in the backyard that they didn't mention. Like,
okay, so we refer you to that. What's it called again?
Yeah, it's just, I think their channel is called Goners on TV, is I think the name of the channel. Okay. And then if you just put in like a haunting well to hell, it should come up because it was
Google or
in YouTube.
In YouTube.
On
okay.
YouTube. Like, because that was like one of the first things that came up when I searched for well to hell. They call it well to hell. Everybody calls it that except for the actual episode. I don't know how that happened because it says the well from hell very clearly.
Might have been a typo.
I don't know. That's a hell of a typo.
Yeah.
And like I said, well to hell makes more sense. Well, neither of them make sense in the context of the show because, like I said, no demons came out or nothing like that. It was just mostly ghosts. Some of the ghosts were dicks.
Yeah.
But they didn't say anything about demons or nothing. Although they did say some of the EVPs were like demonic-y kind of voices. But, that could have just been like a dude from a death metal band that died.
Yeah.
And he was just continuing the shit, like in the afterlife.
All right, then. So is there anything else on the case?
Nope, that's about it.
All right, then.
That's about it.
How long have you been going for?
Not even an hour.
Not even an hour? Okay.
Which is weird because it seemed like a lot longer.
Yeah, it's because we're tired.
But yeah, that's probably why.
All right, then. All right, then. We guess we can shut it down. What's the next show going to be?
The next show is
Wednesday
night.
Yep.
You should be excited about this one because we are going to be talking about, somebody recommended this a long time ago. We are going to be talking about Operation Midnight Climax, which was part of MK Ultra.
Oh, that's the San Francisco whorehouse.
Yeah.
LSD whorehouse. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's going to be good.
You know about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to be talking about that. We did a show about MK Ultra, but I don't think that we mentioned Operation Midnight Climax.
Yeah, LSD whorehouse. Had hookers and fucking CIA they were doing it out of a CIA safe house in San Francisco in an upscale area. They got their hands on some hookers, and they had, I think it was just one hooker, I'm not sure. Might have been two. And they were working them through that safe house, and they were dosing the clients with LSD. And the CIA guys were watching them through a two-way mirror, recording it. Some weird shit, man. They're trying to see if they could get guys to fucking be real suggestible and if they could brainwash them and how they could set them up and stuff. Yeah, I don't know all the details. You're going to end up finding out more than me. I just heard it mentioned a lot. MK Ultra stuff.
Yeah. So like I said, we did do kind of an overarching show.
You identified the girls, right?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah, do we even know what they look like? Were you able to find any pictures?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen any pictures of them, but,
I always wondered what they look like.
Well, I'm sure we could look it up. I'm sure.
There's no way, they might have erased their asses.
Oh, yeah, maybe. That would be something.
There might not be any photographs left over of them.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But
CIA was involved in that shit.
That's true.
And they do worse shit now, much worse. They did much worse shit. That was the lightweight shit that they found out about back then. They're doing a lot worse now, involving kids.
Oh, so Zach was talking about his friend that loves Eminem. It's like my friend who loved Eminem is actually one of those Italian dudes who's super pale, but I imagine Northern Indiana being inside the Arctic Circle doesn't help. Yeah, I mean, fucking Eminem. Yeah, all right. So hopefully you guys can drop by and see us Wednesday night. We're going to talk about some LSD, some hookers.
Yeah.
Some mind control.
Yeah, mind control.
So that should be fun. And hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing about this Well from Hell episode of A Haunting. And hopefully you guys have a good rest of your evening and you have a good day tomorrow. And we'll see you guys again on Wednesday night. Good night.